Emma was a typical teenager. Every morning she woke up, reached for her phone, and started scrolling through social media. Hours would pass by in a blur of pictures, videos, and endless posts. Homework piled up, textbooks gathered dust, and her grades began to slip. But none of that seemed to matter when compared to the next viral meme or trending hashtag. One Saturday, Emma decided to go for a walk in the hopes of clearing her mind. She wandered through her neighborhood until she found herself at an old flea market. The place was filled with oddities and antiques, each one with its own story to tell. As she browsed, a peculiar object caught her eye. A tall, ornate mirror with intricate carvings along its frame. A small sign beside it read, "The Future Mirror. See what lies ahead." Curious, Emma approached the mirror. The vendor, an elderly woman with kind eyes, smiled and said, "This mirror has a special gift. Look into it and see the future that awaits you based on your current path." Emma laughed it off as a gimmick, but decided to give it a try. She stood in front of the mirror and gazed into her reflection. Slowly, the image began to change. She saw herself years from now, still glued to her phone, living in a tiny, cluttered apartment. Her face looked tired and her eyes were empty. There were no books, no signs of progress, just the same old routine of scrolling and wasting time. A chill ran down her spine. She turned to the vendor, who simply nodded. "This is your future if you continue as you are," the woman said softly. "But remember, the future is not set in stone." Determined to see more, Emma asked, "What if I change? What if I start studying and focus on my goals?" The vendor gestured for Emma to look into the mirror again. This time, the image shifted to show a different version of herself. She saw a bright, spacious office filled with books and awards. She was giving a lecture to a captivated audience, sharing her knowledge and passion. Her face radiated confidence and fulfillment. Emma stepped back, her heart racing. She realized that the power to change her future was in her hands. She thanked the vendor and hurried home, the images from the mirror fresh in her mind. From that day forward, Emma made a conscious effort to cut back on her social media use. She set strict limits on her screen time and dedicated specific hours each day to studying. It was difficult at first, but as the weeks passed, she found herself getting more absorbed in her schoolwork and less interested in her phone. Her grades improved, and she began to rediscover her love for learning. The subjects that once seemed dull now fascinated her. She joined study groups, participated in class discussions, and even started a blog to share her insights and progress. Years later, Emma stood in front of a packed auditorium, about to give a talk on her field of expertise. As she looked out at the eager faces in the audience, she couldn't help but think back to the future mirror and the old woman at the flea market. The memory of that day still brought a smile to her face. She had seen the future and had chosen to create a better one for herself. Emma's journey was a reminder that the future is shaped by the choices we make today. With determination and effort, she had transformed her life, turning a once bleak future into a bright and promising one.